Hi, this is Mrs. Garcia, and this is your notebook check tutorial for World History. Your first notebook check will be this Friday, September 1st, 2012. As was mentioned, during the first week of school, you need a 3-subject spiral notebook, or it could be 4 or 5 subjects. It doesn't matter. The more pages, the better. Now, as far as division goes, dividing the notebook, the first section will be dedicated only to your warm-ups because we typically do these daily. The second section, though, will be for vocabulary and your notes. I had mentioned before that the notes would go in the third section, but because we have so many notes and not as much vocabulary, we're going to merge the two. The third section we're going to leave blank for now, and I'm pretty sure that soon we'll be filling that up with vocabulary and notes as well. So let's start with that first section in the notebook, which will be your daily warm-ups. As of right now, you should have several warm-ups already written down. Now, what I would like to see on every page of those warm-ups is a standard way of doing your warm-ups. You'll start with your date first, then you need to copy the questions followed by the answers. And this has been mentioned in class and modeled for you, but just in case you have forgotten, I do want a specific standard and everyone's doing the same thing. Now, if you've forgotten completely and this does not make sense to you, please refer to your classroom routines. The worksheet was entitled Social Studies Routines, and this was given to you during the first week of school. Now, before I move on into the section that you see before you, I forgot to mention one thing about your warm-ups. If you missed a warm-up because you were absent, please refer to the website for specific instructions as to what to do for the days that you were absent. So I'll try to post the questions online. Otherwise, please ask a friend for the questions. Now, the section that you have in front of you is the second section in the spiral, which I had mentioned earlier will be dedicated to vocabulary and notes. So the first page that I'm going to be looking for is vocabulary for chapter 1. We did this on August 20th. I also went around the following day stamping your spirals. Now, say you haven't done it completely, you will get partial points. I do reduce half credit if you did not do it on time, so make sure that you get it done so you can get some credit at least. I did give you a 1/4 sheet of paper with a specific list of words that I needed you to look up. If you did not receive that, it's also on the website, or you can ask a neighbor. One last thing about this, very briefly, it's like Cornell Notes. On one side, on the left-hand side, you need your key word, the definition, and then on the right-hand side, you need a sentence with the word underlined and a picture. Now, wherever you end your vocabulary, move on to the next clean sheet of paper in that same section, the middle section of your spiral. And you're going to staple or glue onto this page your notes from chapter 1, section 1. It was entitled Greek Rulers and Philosophers, or I believe it had also Greek Roots of Democracy written on it. It had the rulers on one side and the philosophers on the other side. For the philosophers, you did this in groups of 3. You read a section, you took notes, then you shared the wealth with your neighbors and they took notes as you spoke. The other side, about the philosophers, we did as a group in class, and I did direct instruction with a PowerPoint. So you should have these notes. But say you were absent for one reason or another, please look up this section in your textbook. Look for the specific names. It should be at the very beginning of your textbook. It's section 1 of chapter 1. And please take your own set of notes. For period number 5, I believe I assigned one section to you for homework because we hadn't met on that first week and you were kind of falling behind my other classes. So you should have this filled out and you should have done it on your own. The specific section should have been the philosopher part that you did on your own. If I give you a worksheet that has a front and a back to it, make sure that when you're putting it in your notebook, you don't glue it completely down onto your notebook because I won't be able to see one side, the other side that's missing, and you won't get points for it. So make sure that you treat your notebook kind of like a scrapbook with pages that could be flipped and turned in one way or another. So in terms of the next page in that middle section, we move on into the class notes that we took on section 1 of chapter 1, the Greek roots of democracy. As you can see in this picture, the picture is what it should look like. Now say you do not have it, please ask me for this handout before the test. The test is on Friday, so don't come up to me on Thursday. Please come up to me by Wednesday for this handout. Now, as far as filling it out, if you weren't in class, I also have this on the website, and you can view the PowerPoint. Or you can ask a friend for the notes. The next section in your notebook should include the Plato versus Aristotle notes. I do have these and I still need to pass them back to you, but say I do not pass them back to you in time, please leave one page in that notebook available for you to staple this onto the notebook. These notes are very important because they are standards based, so these quotes and what they represent is what you'll be tested on later on in the future. So we do need to have this in your notebook. And say when you get it back, if there are circles, please make sure that you finish it, because I put circles around the ones that people did not finish, and then I commented on the ones that you did finish. In moving along, the next section should include the U.S. Constitution worksheet. This was a worksheet that came in the form of a T-chart. On the left-hand side you had questions, and then on the right-hand side you had readings. It also looks kind of like Cornell notes because you were supposed to highlight the answers or underline them. Now, underneath these notes, where you're going to staple them, your notes from where you wrote the Roman government descriptions, that should be underneath these notes. Now, I don't have a picture about this, but when you flip over this worksheet, I should expect to see, or you should expect to see, the notes on the Roman government. And this was copied in class last week. I will also try to put it on the website as soon as possible so that in case you don't have them, you can copy them. But pretty much it described the 12 tablets, it also described the tribunes, and a couple other things. These were the Roman notes, which go underneath. Lastly, I'm recording this early so that you could get your notebook together, but there's going to be some other handouts that I'm going to give to you or assign to you, so be attentive to this. I do not have any pictures of this through this through this YouTube video, so just to give you a heads up, this Monday you'll be receiving a handout on the Jewish faith and Christianity, and you'll be taking notes from the textbook because every Monday you are to bring your textbook. Then Tuesday and Wednesday we'll dedicate some time to Great Britain and their form of government, and lastly on Thursday we'll review for the test. So whatever you get handed to you, keep it, put it towards the back, put it in order, and also I'll let you know what doesn't need to be included in your notebook versus what does. For example, another heads up, your chapter review is separate from the notebook. Thank you guys, and good luck.